All right, welcome to today's episode where we're going to talk about something controversial. Donald Trump. Not really Donald Trump. We don't do politics here. But we are going to talk about Mar A Lago. Trump and the Trump organization was recently in the news. A judge has determined that he does, in fact, overinflate the commercial value of his properties, and that Mar A Lago specifically is only worth $18 to $26 million. That's a very, very low valuation, whether it's residential, whether you looked at it from a residential perspective or a commercial perspective, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you both. You make your own determination how much you think this is worth. The first thing we're going to look at is, let me pull this up here real quick. How big is Mar-a-Lago? So to determine a residential value, we have to know how big it is. It's 62,000 square feet. 62,000 square feet big. That's the only metric we're going to use. We're going to make this super simple, super quick and dirty. We're going to go to Zillow. I've already done a Zillow search. I've already sorted it. Okay. So what I've done is I searched the 33480 zip code, as you can see, for sold houses that are as big as it can possibly allow. The only two other filters I used were, this is the biggest minimum square footage, and I asked it for sold houses in the last 12 months only. Okay. So knowing that, the only thing we're going to do is assume everything else is the same. We're going to assume they're all C1. That's very, very high-end properties. We're all going to assume they have the same amenities. We're going to assume everything is equal except bedroom, bathroom count, which we can't do anything about because Mar-a-Lago is 126 rooms. And square footage, we're going to try to make them the same, and we're going to round down a little bit to make up for the fact that as you go up in size and square footage, you actually come down a little bit in price per square foot. So in doing that, you see a 7-bed, 9-bath, 17,000 square foot home sold in April for 66 million. A 9-bed, 8-bath, 10 almost 11,000 square foot home sold for 63 million. Okay, let's do the math on those. If we multiplied this first one by 3, it's really closer to 4, but if we multiplied it by 3, that would round the square footage down. That would be 1734, 51,000 square feet. That would be rounding down enough. That would make Mar-a-Lago worth 198 million. Call it 200 million. This one, 11 times roughly 6, we'll call it 5. 5 would make Mar-a-Lago worth roughly 300 million. So we've already established a value here. 200 to 300 million as a residence. Why did we look at it as a residence? Well, because Trump bought it as a residence when he first bought it, according to that same Wikipedia page we just looked at. He bought it in 85, and it was a residence. In 94, he made it right here. In 94, he made it into the Mar-a-Lago Club. Okay, so residential value aside, how do we determine what the commercial value is on property? Well, we do that through something called a capitalization rate. It's really simple. And remember, you can do cap rate backwards. I'm going to show you that real quick. Cap rate is literally just the net operating income divided by how much the building actually sold for will give you the building's cap rate. There is a market cap rate because you can do these numbers backwards. So let me show you that you can do that backwards really quick. Let's pull up a calculator here. Okay, so their example here, they say you bought a $1 million property. It does $100,000 a year in NOI. You divide that NOI by the property, by the amount you paid. That's 10 million. That's okay. It gives you 0.1, which is 10%. Now, if we did this backwards, we said it was doing $100,000 per year in revenue, and you divided it by the building's cap rate, you're going to get $1 million, as you can see. So every area has what's called a market cap rate. I don't know the cap rate on a high-end club. I do, however, know the cap rate for multifamily, and clubs will probably be similar. We're going to round up a couple of points to equalize it a little bit because we don't know. So multifamily runs between 3 and 3.5% in Florida. The lower the number is, the more your property is worth against the NOI. Let me make that make sense. If the market cap rate is 10%. That divides into 100% 10 times, right? That means your NOI would be a multiple of 10. That's what your building's worth. Your building's value would be a 10 multiple of your NOI. That's what it'd be worth. If the cap rate was 5%, it would double. So now it'd be a multiple of 20. So if you're doing 100,000 a year, at 10% market cap, you're worth $1 million. At 20% market cap, you're worth $2 million. If the market cap's only 2.5%, that's 40 times your NOI. That same building would be worth $4 million. It's pretty simple. Okay, so let's go do some math. Now, it is reportedly stated that memberships cost $200,000 per year at Mar A Lago, and that people pay $20,000 to $30,000 a year to maintain their membership, and that this facility makes $50 million. And we're just going to assume they know what they're doing. They make 25% net profit, and then we're going to do the judge's numbers in reverse and see if they make sense at all. Okay, so if it makes $50 million a year, 50 million divided by, times 0.25, which is 25%. We'll say that's their NOI, 12.5 million. And then we divide that by what would be the market cap rate of 0.05. Okay. That would make that building worth, that is $250 million. That would make the building worth $250 million. If it was a 25% NOI, and that's $12.5 million out of 50 at a 5% cap rate. I know the cap rate's lower than that, so it's actually worth more than that. And we're $250 million. So remember, we said between $200 million and $300 million residential, $250 million commercial with crap numbers. Let's see if the judge is right. Okay. So the judge says it's worth $18 million. Oh, there's $18 million. Now, if the cap rate, if we're going to use the same numbers, we're going to say it makes 25% net revenue, which would be $4.5 million. And if the cap rate is 0.05, it would be worth $90 million. Folks, if the cap rate was 10%, it would be worth $45 million. I don't know how to make it make sense. No, there's nothing else for me to really say. I want you to make your own determination here. I hope you found this valuable or at least entertaining. And let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you did find some value or entertainment here, like and subscribe, do the thing. And we'll see you on the next video. I talk about kind of pop culture stuff, and my goal is to give you another perspective. So you can hate Trump all you want. You can hate the Trump organization all you want. But sometimes you do have to question the motives behind stuff that doesn't make sense. See you next time.